So yes, I'm Colin, co-founder and CEO of Inference Labs. Get the nice Inference branded slide up there. And we are building Duolingo for AI models. Sorry, no, we're not actually building Duolingo anything. We're in the space of AI trust, right? So really, how do you know, everyone's using AI all the time. How do you know what AI models are actually on the other end? These models change all the time. If you're building something in enterprise, you might need to kind of lock that in and know with certainty every single time that AI model is indeed what's on the other end. But before that, I spent 10 years doing a bunch of different things, and really my journey starts with HitchBot. I already got a quick intro there, but HitchBot was a hitchhiking robot that traveled across Canada and the United States back in 2014 and 2015. You might have seen about it, might have heard about it, but like with any good journey, it starts with questions. So first off, what the hell happened to hitchhiking? So about 30 years ago, and that's a little older than myself, hitchhiking was actually quite a big thing. Anyone here actually been hitchhiking ever? Okay, a few. When I was a kid, my dad would actually threaten to pick up hitchhikers when we were on a road trip, saying, if you guys don't behave, we're going to pick up that guy with the acoustic guitar. And then virtually hitchhiking has disappeared. I don't see hitchhikers. I've seen maybe one in the last 2-3 years. At the same time, over that 30-year period, violent crime had decreased significantly, right? We can debate over the last 5 years if that's still the case. I won't make any more comments on that. But you know, it's definitely something that's happened. And then further to that, another big question. Can we trust AI? Is Terminator going to show up at your doorstep? You know, what's going to happen with this? Is AI going to take your jobs? If you ask ChatGPT this question, of course, it's going to paint a very rosy picture. A seamless integration, a harmonious coexistence. Lots of holograms. We've got like an off-ramp going there into the middle of the median. Maybe the gardener would look great if it was something like that. Anyway, what about the opposite question? Can AI trust us? Everyone's seen the video of some guys kicking the Boston Dynamics robots. It seems like a really bad idea. Let's not do that. And then think of all the vile things people have put into ChatGPT. That might come back to bite you one day. So again, some big questions. Can we trust AI? Can AI trust us? We decided to put all of these ideas together and create a robot that would hitchhike, send it out on its own journey into the world, and see what would happen. So like with any good idea, it starts with a sketch. Something on the back of a napkin. You don't really think too much about it. You just put it together, put an idea out into the world. From there, you iterate. You build with what you have on hand. A garbage can, a pool noodle, a pair of old boots that you're not quite sure where they came from, and of course, rubber gloves. And then with any good idea, you also then start to have doubts. You start to think, if I leave this robot on the side of the road, what's going to happen? Is that littering? Am I going to get into any legal trouble, right? What would happen if it's destroyed? And you know, who's going to clean it up? What happens if it goes over the border? Does it need a passport? But you drudge along. You keep building. You start further fleshing out your prototype. Literally a beer bucket, Coors Light, not sponsored, some more pool noodles. You start to build your prototype up a bit more. And before you know it, you're ready to go. You're ready to hit the road. You have your fully fleshed robot. That's like 8 months of building in 2 slides. Next, you drive out to the edge of Canada, Halifax, drop your robot on the side of the road, and you hide in the bushes and wait and see what happens. Within 5 minutes, someone picks it up, a couple who saw it on the news out on an RV adventure. And HitchBot's off to the races. It was, yeah, it kind of explains itself. Having dinner, not sure if that's what robots eat. Don't know if robots need to use the bathroom, but you know, here we are. You crash a wedding. You just invited, someone picks you up and brings you along the way. And then you have high tea on the front lawn of the Empress, which only Queen Elizabeth had up until this point. It's quite the honor. Your journey is complete. You travel across the country. You ask yourself, what's next? What could we do? You go bigger. You go to the US. You come up with a bucket list. All the things you want to do, all your dreams put in one list. Sleepless in Seattle, go to Las Vegas, visit Disney World, and your journey begins. Immediately, Fenway Park, hitting a national baseball game. You visit Times Square, see New York City, all the lights and sounds. 2 weeks into your journey, you end up in Philadelphia. 2 YouTubers have you. They drop you on a park bench at 4 a.m., and then you're beheaded and destroyed. Things don't always go to plan. Oh dear, my body was damaged, but I live on with all my friends. Sometimes bad things happen to good robots. And you got to be careful with the conclusion you draw here. Again, this is an experiment. We didn't know what was going to happen. We didn't know where it would end up. Anything could happen. It's at the mercy of things out of your control. Not the end of the world, though. Press picks up. A lot of great press comes out of this. Actually, if you go on YouTube, there's a whole conspiracy rabbit hole to go down. A lot of people say it's an inside job. I promise you, I have a good alibi. But it's really one of the best things that could have happened to the project. Being destroyed, getting that publicity, you couldn't pay for that kind of coverage. You can visit Hitchbot today at the Canadian Science and Technology Museum in Ottawa or at the Heinz Nixdorf Museum in Germany, which I was fortunate to visit about a year ago. So back to my original questions. Can we trust AI? Can AI trust us? I spent the last 10 years working on different things to try and get an answer to this question. After Hitchbot, I worked on something in enterprise AI, very exciting, a project to track and detect aircraft at airports, basically to help the pilots stop on that line there and ensure that everybody's safe. And quick little video there, beautiful. I love when that works. And then to today, Inference Labs, like I said, working on secure protocols to verify inference and really lock that down. Now, how can you explain that jump from robots to aviation to this? You can't. And that's part of my point here, is you don't know where your journey is going to take you. You just have to start. And I think, back to that question, I don't really have an answer. I'm still working on it. We'll see if I get there. I don't know where I stole this from, but I think it sums it up really, really well. Have a big vision or ask a big question. Start small, but most importantly, just start. And with that, thank you. Questions.
We will take questions.
Yes.
Stand up. Oh, sorry. I'm asked to stand up. It's fine. Hey, Sergey here. What I want to ask is, so you did the bot. Did the bot move or record anything, or what was the whole idea behind it?
So to be a robot, you have to have one moving part.
The head? Oh, that's all it did.
That's all it did. That's all it did. It did talk as well, so it could have a. Again, this is 2014.
Right.
So it was a pretty preliminary conversational agent, let's call it. Nowhere near what you could do today with ChatGPT. It'd actually be great to rerun that experiment with today's AI. But yeah, I could strike up basic conversations. And at the wedding it crashed, they actually had to put it facing into a corner because it wouldn't be quiet, and there was no Hitchbot hush. So.
Okay, fair enough. And did you travel with it, or did you just send it off and it?
Send it off and GPS, satellite GPS, and just it took pictures every 15 minutes or so, and would send it back, and we just watched it remotely.
That's awesome. Thank you.
Great questions.
Hi, thanks for the sharing. And yeah, I just want to ask, you have started so many different projects, and it has come to some point that it must come to some point that you know something's failing, it's not working. But how do you know when is the time to pivot or to start something new?
So the question would be, how do you know when to pivot or keep doing what you're doing? And it's a great question. There's a lot of ideas there that I didn't mention because I no longer work on them. And for me, it's always, where does my attention go? Where do I find myself constantly spending time and thinking about in my spare time when I can't stop thinking about that idea? That's how I know it's the thing that I want to keep working on. Whether it's the right idea and I should pivot is a different question. It's hard to answer that. Sometimes the market might tell you, and sometimes you could be too early, but that's how I would make that determination. Where you spend your time. Where you find yourself spending your time.
2 more questions.
Hey, hi, great presentation, and didn't really think that somebody would send a robot like that. But my actual question on Inference Lab, I'm a mathematician and I build AI platform systems as well. So curious, I gave a read at your white paper as well. are you developing any new protocols? Like, so the architecture, could you speak a little bit about
Yeah,
that?
for sure. So the question being, are we building any new architectures or new protocols around securing inference? And absolutely we are. We're doing ways, we have ways of basically crypto economically securing inference, so not requiring the cryptographic proof every single time by providing collateral. We also are working on our own proving systems. This is kind of like a deep, hard cryptography problem to solve. There's a lot of overhead and other things that we do not have the time for today, but we're definitely working on and solving that problem. Thank you for the question. Thank you for reading the white paper too. That's exciting.
Last question.
Hi. I love your point that whether AI can trust us or we can trust AI. I think one thing that comes up is responsibility. Like if I make a mistake, my wife always holds me accountable. So same thing is like for the enterprise AI, when your models and anything that makes a mistake or is not that accurate. So how do you navigate that? How do you navigate this responsibility question there?
Well, it comes down to, for enterprises, who are we going to sue, right? Whose liability is this? I always go back to the example of Air Canada had a chatbot on their website just handling customer service requests. And the AI basically made up a refund policy for somebody that didn't exist. They told them, don't show up your flight, no problem, it won't be an issue. The guy does that, and then it ends up with this massive lawsuit. The guy's out $1,000 bucks. That chatbot no longer exists today, and I think that's the wrong approach. We have to solve these problems today because we're using AI for everything, and we need to figure out how do we solve that problem of whose liability is it, and when it comes to trust, again with the aviation stuff, how do we know it's working properly? How do we know it's meeting its performance metrics? But yeah, thank you.
Thank you, Colin.
All right, that was awesome.